Welcome to the Six Again podcast, your new destination for all things NRL. Here to bring you everything from team news to best bets are your hosts Adam Hoy and Jared Newton. Let's kick off.
Okay, welcome into the first off-season episode of Six Again. Jared and I are here. We're back to one show a week, which we'll be recording Wednesday nights, dropping Thursday mornings going forward until the start of the 2021 NRL season, or until these things pick up again. And literally as of pretty much 4 p.m. this afternoon, there was not much to talk about until a couple of things dropped. So I'm still frantically scribbling down ideas, but Jared's prepared as always. And he's here raring to go. How you doing, Jared?
Loving the lies you're putting down at me right now. Prepared as always. I'm more tired than you half the time.
Nice scribble. As he holds the book up to the microphone.
As a podcast, everyone can see.
That's it. It's actually been, considering it's literally now off season, Origin finalised and all that, and we're pretty sure Cam Munster has been found at the end of his bender.
Probably not.
Hit or miss. There was not much to talk about apart from a couple of signings, and then we had the first round of the draw leaked by the Daily Telegraph, which means they probably took it from somewhere. I don't know. QRL's unveiled a new logo. There's talk about loan deals happening as early as next season. We've got Super League players looking at coming back. We've got NRL players looking to go into Super League. There's a bunch of stuff that pretty much fell down this afternoon, and we had some time fillers, and we'll only get to one of them today, but it's going to be a pretty fun exercise where we're going to try and pair up 16 free agents with the 16 clubs. And we'll get more into that later because there's a couple of choices that were a bit rough towards the end, we'll say. So if you're one of those clubs, you're probably not going to be happy with at least my selection. Where do you want to kick off? Let's get the little stuff over and done with first. QRL have rebranded. They've got a new logo out. It's part of what they've called a branding evolution for Queensland Rugby League. I really like it. It's old school. It's a very simple logo. You've got the two chevrons that you see on the Australian logo on the Australian jersey, and going through the middle of a Q. It's similar to me to the Queensland Reds Q, but it's less italic. Oh, it's not italic. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, it's simple and it's old school and it's, I don't know, it looks solid. What do you reckon?
I didn't have a problem with the last one. I don't see why they needed to change it.
Yeah, I didn't even, it's kind of snuck up on me. I didn't even know they were even looking into changing the logo. In saying that, I prefer this one, but I'm really into jerseys and really into designs and stuff that I like to see on my sports team. So as a Queensland supporter, I'm really happy with it. It'll be interesting to see how it goes down. I don't see it getting a lot of press, and people will see the jerseys next year and be like, oh, that looks a bit different. But I think when the NRL rebranded to this logo, it kind of went everywhere pretty quick. So it'll be interesting to see if Queensland pushes it out as well and as quickly.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I wouldn't even known if they did change it.
Yeah, you're like, something's different about this jersey. I don't know. All right, so the draw for the 2021 season is due to be released tomorrow. Thursday, so later on today after you listen to this. And of course, there's always a leak beforehand, and there's some news that we do know that's been confirmed that we've got to discuss. So I guess the big key ticket items are the New Zealand Warriors have been slated to play their home games out of Auckland and not Redcliffe. So that'll be a huge sigh of relief to especially the New Zealand team and their supporters and their families.
Yeah, but that also depends how everything goes ahead.
Yes. So this is
Like-
playing on that there'll be a trans-Tasman bubble for air
Yeah.
traffic.
Otherwise, if something doesn't work out, unfortunately, it's going to be another longer season for the Warriors.
Yes. So basically, Vlandis is leaning on his biosecurity expert, telling us that we'll be playing games in New Zealand in the first round. It's been 0 infections for 30 days in New South Wales, 28 days in Victoria. If it stays like that, there won't be a problem.
Yeah.
Talk about a vaccine that seems to be gaining momentum. It may be out by the time before the season starts. So that might be something else that aids in the favour. Whether it'll get to Australia, general public, sports stars, if there's going to be an order around that, who knows? But that's a bit of good news, especially for the Warriors and their families. Origin will be moving back to its mid-season slot.
Yes.
Yes, I like the aspect. I think Jared's with me here. The back-to-back-to-back, 3 weeks of Origin, 3 games in 3 weeks was really cool. The end of the season, we were kind of excited about it because there was nothing else on, thinking that everyone would be all over it. But as Vlandy said, we trialled it at the end of the season. It wasn't as successful as thought. It's not like they moved it there just to see what had happened. They moved it there out of... Well, they had to. There was no other way otherwise it would have been done.
The more games there were, the more quality it was.
Yes.
So the quality of the games wasn't overly strong
compared to what it would be mid-season.
Yeah. So that's probably a big draw card for Volandis because, you want quality. Like, some of those players have played in 6-7 weeks and they're really onto an Origin game. So they obviously, match fit's a big deal in rugby league, and Origin's a step above normal NRL. So,
will there be a way to play back to back to back in the middle of the season?
Only if they have 3 rounds off for the NRL.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Would that be worth it?
I don't think so, because I wouldn't be overly a fan of that, because it would affect teams like Melbourne, South Sydney more than others, because Warriors get 3 weeks off.
All right. What if you did back to back to back Origins, but on each weekend it was like a quarter a try series round robin tournament with Samoa, New Zealand, Tonga, and Fiji, or something like that.
I'm still not the biggest fan of it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I really liked it, not having that week and a half, 2 weeks in between where players could go out, get injured, come back. I like the fact that young guys get their chance once the Origin players are out. But in saying that, I still want to see the best players on the park week to week for my club as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they do tinker with it, even if it goes, even though it's back in the middle of the season. Dates, times, and venues are yet to be confirmed. Did you know? I don't even know if we talked about that. The last Origin game, that third one, was the first time in Origin history that no Broncos player was selected for the Maroons.
Good.
With Coates being injured.
I love it, because what that shows is that Broncos weren't good enough.
Ooh, ouch.
It's not fucking wrong. There was a Broncos player picked for New South Wales, though.
Yes, there was 2, wasn't
and
there?
I find that quite hilarious.
No. That was the other teams. All right, so other good news, there are 6 New South Wales country towns that will host an NRL game in 2021, and that's going to increase to 9 towns in 2022, so taking footy back to the country, which is awesome in many ways. With that, a lot of players are still coming from country into playing the cities and get their shot. Less than used to be, but still a number. So you've got Sharks taking a game to Coffs Harbour. Manly are going to Mudgee. Manly haven't gone out west for a while, so that's pretty cool. Penrith to Bathurst, South to Dubbo, the Raiders to Wagga, and West Tigers to Tamworth. So all of the country towns in New South Wales, it will be good, hopefully in the 2022 season, if we start going into other states. I know Cairns has gotten a game or two. Darwin usually gets a game as well with Parramatta, but it'd be cool to see maybe some other country areas in 2022, maybe in Queensland or even Victoria, start to get some of these games as well. But that's really good to see. They haven't announced the opposition for those games yet, but I'm sure they'll come out in the full draw. Anzac Day, Roosters versus Dragons, Warriors versus Storm, and then also Manly versus Bulldogs. And as long as Manly don't make a hideous version of those camo jerseys they made a few years ago, I'm fine with that. Talk about a proper test being run in October, and an international calendar coming back into operation. But again, that's going to depend on what's going on in Europe. Otherwise, it'll be a standard Australia, New Zealand, and maybe some Pacific nations. And what was the other big thing? And then stadium funding. So Peter V'landys was alongside New South Wales Deputy Premier John Brilaro, I don't know, talking about his confidence in New South Wales government honouring their $800 million funding agreement that was meant to be used on the upgrade of ANZ Stadium this year. We knew that was pulled and redistributed to 4 suburban grounds based along the lines of Bank West, but of a smaller capacity. So more like your Titan Stadium on the Gold Coast, about your 22,000 sort of size. I like the fact that he did this in a public setting.
Yeah.
Calling out the government. It looks as though it's still going to be going ahead. However, he did make it clear that the problem at the moment is timing. The NRL wants this done yesterday. The government was thinking more in a couple of years. And you can see it from their point of view with what's going on this year. Where does this leave ANZ Stadium? It leaves it without an upgrade. And V'landys has said, hypothetically, that if the grand final has to move to Brisbane due to facilities, etc., it would be an option. But that's all a hypothetical at this stage. If that's the
Not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, if that's the case, why say it? Because now I'm excited.
Yeah. Look, I know he only gets 50,000. You don't get 80,000, but it's a better atmosphere at Suncorp.
We've been to 3 grand finals.
I've been to about 7
grand finals.
Yeah.
You have not.
I have.
Oh, you went with your family as well, didn't you?
Yeah, heaps.
Oh, that's right. And so we've both been to ANZ when it's sold out and at its peak for a grand final. We've been to Suncorp for an Origin decider, Origin matches. We've been there for the World Cup final. The roar in Suncorp is louder than the roar at ANZ, even with 30,000 less people.
100%.
Just because it's how it's built, it's more intimate, all that sort of stuff. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if a grand final had to go there for a year or two if the development does come on board later on. What I really like to see is V'landys talking about how important suburban stadiums are and keeping them up to NRL standard and world-class standard. Because what rugby league has thrived on and it's probably been missing lately is tribalism and keeping these suburban grounds and putting money into them or even building new ones that are a smaller size promotes that tribalism, which the game needs. It's sad sometimes watching Roosters versus Rabbitohs at ANZ where you know there's 25,000 people there, but it looks like 4,000. When it's in such a big stadium.
It looks so shit.
It looks horrible. And you know that if you had 25, like if you put them in Titan Stadium, it'd be brilliant. So, all right, let's have a look at the actual first round of action. And as soon as I say that, I've lost my page. So Jared's going to bring it up, I'm sure.
Yeah. So is it in here?
Well, so game 1 down in Melbourne, Storm versus Rabbitohs. So that's a killer of a game to kick the season off. Bellamy versus Bennett. Heaps of storylines in this, in that Latrell Mitchell will be back at full fitness versus Pappenhausen. That's a great battle. You've got your Reynolds and Walker up against Munster and, at this stage, Hughes. And it should be Hughes through next year. The big thing will be, will this be the Melbourne Storm debut of Harry Grant, or will this still be Cameron Smith? So that's kind of the big story where we're not sure of yet, obviously. So, but that's a killer of a game to kick the season off.
And then the Friday 6 o'clock game will be the Newcastle Knights versus Bulldogs. So I think most of the focus will be on Dogs, with Trent Barrett coming in. He's got a few new signings. Actually looks like he signed Matt Burton at 2022 this year. That's going to be announced tomorrow, I believe. But you got Nick Kotrick, you got a few others there potentially. Oh no, not Josh Adokar anymore, but a few others that have come to Bulldogs. Who else is there?
Although he was photographed walking around Belmore facilities this week. Today, actually, the Bulldogs laying out what they call the blue and white carpet. So they're firming, I feel, for his signature for 2022. Yeah, and Remy Smith has already gone to Melbourne. So that kind of strengthens that.
Yeah, so new look Bulldogs team up against Newcastle. There's a few new players, mainly Tyson Frizzell. It's looking like Kalen Pong will be out for the first month of the NRL next year from surgery, which isn't good. And then the next game, put money on who's playing the primetime game on Friday night.
Oh, Cowboys.
No.
I'm all right.
Broncos versus Parramatta.
What? Broncos get a Friday night game?
It's at Suncorp.
All right, I want to check this. Is this going to be the first time in NRL or ARL history where the Wooden Spooners get a home prime time slot on a Friday night?
So obviously, Kevin Walters has come in. He's said he's going to start from the bottom and build his house from the foundations. Everything's going to get torn apart. It's come out today that they've gotten 2 new inspirational leaders come into the Broncos to help at preseason training. One I agree with. The other one is Darius Boyd.
Who was the other one?
One is Matt Gillett. He'd be pretty good to have around.
Yeah.
But and then Parramatta, there's nothing really changed from that, but Broncos have got Suncorp Stadium. They're going to have Friday night. They're going to pack it out. They're going to be full as anything, so we're good to go.
So Parramatta Eels, Keegan Hipgrave, Bryce Cartwright, will they be in your 1-17 this far out?
Keegan Hipgrave, yes. Bryce Cartwright, I'd be surprised.
Yes, depending on how he trains the house down.
So they've brought in clones of what they've already got. That's how I see that. So Bryce Cartwright is a shadow of the version of what Brian Madison can be. They're the same player. And Keegan Hipgrave is a clone of Nathan Brown.
But with a better moustache.
Yes. Okay.
So the other thing here is obviously Brisbane has lost to the Eels their last 3 games, including that 59-0 thrashing in the finals 2 seasons ago now. So that's just interesting as well. Saturday.
Right, so this is the game I'm looking forward to. Warriors versus the Gold Coast. So the forward pack versus the forward pack. This is going to be fucking epic. So obviously everyone's pretty well on top of who the Gold Coast signed this year. And then you look at who the Warriors signed, Ben Murdoch, Masila, Bailey Stiranen.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be
Adam
fun.
Fanua-Blake versus David Fafita, Fodawaker, Hubert SASA. I'm pretty sure they've signed. Oh, Tino, big Tino as well. It is going to be an epic game. Both their backlines suck.
Could even be Asiata by that stage too.
Yeah. AJ Brimson will be back too, hopefully, as well. And then you put
Brian
him up
Kelly, Brimson, Sammy.
Yeah. So I don't really
Copley.
rate both their teams' backline, but the forward battle is going to be epic.
We talked about the Warriors backline. Mamalo, Fusatua, Tuivasa-Sheck, Aitken, and probably Hiku, you'd say. It's got potential.
Look, a lot of stuff's going to change between here and now. And then
this will be
Roosters versus Manly.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. And it's at the SCG as well, subject to availability. So I always look at my team's draw going, I want to verse as many good teams early as possible because I believe it gets you up to speed quicker. And if I'm going to lose to the better teams, I want that to happen earlier in the season where I can still catch up points. And going off this season, Roosters were a bar or two higher than Seagulls, obviously. So, but that should be a cracker. We hate each other, and 5:30 slot the SCG should be a good game, and then that leads into Penrith Panthers versus North Queensland Cowboys down at Penrith Stadium.
I'm overly excited about this one. The main thing I'm excited about this one is seeing how Penrith are going to bounce back in the grand final. They had such a strong year last year. Now they've got to back it up.
And they've also going to have something hanging over their heads that they didn't have last year.
What, so people coming after them?
Oh, that. But last year at the start of the season and the season before, everyone's talking up all the young talent and all that sort of stuff, how good they're going to be for years to come. As soon as they've made the grand final, we knew it was going to happen. It happens to all the clubs that get that far. They're starting to get poached. This is going to be the first year that they're going in knowing that Matt Burton won't be there the year after. Hetherington's already gone. Whispers of Stephen Crichton he's decided not to re-sign. Caleb Aitkins is gone. Josh Mansour could be in reserve grade. So you've got all this sort of stuff that they weren't dealing with last year as well. And Queensland Cowboys couldn't have done much worse last year. So they were in their first game with Todd Payton. And we talked last episode before about how much he's changed up or said he's going to change up. So it'll be interesting to see how the Cowboys play. So I reckon there might be some interest in this game as it builds.
Next game is Canberra versus West Tigers. I'm going to say right now that's going to be a flogging. I'm not really rating the Tigers. Their signings haven't been flash, and they're already starting the preseason with controversy.
Yeah.
So it's just, Tigers.
And then you've got, to finish off round one, two teams that aren't always inspiring to watch, but when they verse each other, it's always a good match. So you've got the Derby, the Shire Derby in Cronulla Sharks and St George, Illawarra Dragons, 6:30 down at Cogra. And if you've got a first round starting with Storm versus Rabbits and then finishing with Sharks versus Dragons and having another rivalry on the Saturday in Roosters and Eagles, it should be that's a pretty decent first round, you'd say. Overall, the big thing missing there is no games at ANZ Stadium, which is pretty nice to see the first round. So hopefully some packed out crowds. Amy Park should sell out. McDonald Jones will get pretty close. Suncorp will be pretty packed. Mount Smart, you'd expect to have a fair few first game back in New Zealand.
Yeah, that'll be
Penrith will be packed out. The other one you'd be really, I guess, hesitant on would be Roosters versus Manly, depending whether it's at SCG. If it's not at SCG, it's going to be at ANZ, you'd assume. So hopefully it is SCG. So that's what the first round is looking like next year. And we'll get more updates of the yearly draw on Thursday. All right, going into signings. We've talked about Matt Burton already. It's confirmed that he will be going to Canterbury starting 2022 on a 3-year deal. Penrith have denied an early release. Same case with Jake Clifford going to the Knights in 2022. Cowboys have rejected an early release as well. That's a 2-year deal he's signed with the
I'm
Knights.
hoping that gets sorted and he comes now.
Yes. So he's still contracted with the Cowboys as Burton's contracted Penrith, but there's a year in limbo between the two. Mason Lino has joined English Super League club Wakefield on a 3-year deal because he was
Wakefield would have Hull. Yeah.
So he was behind Pierce and Mann and
Watson,
I guess, as well at the Knights. And West Tigers have re-signed Sean Blore on a 2-year deal, keeping him through the end of 2023. So West Tigers have done something decent. And Keon Kolomatangi has been re-signed or extended his contract at South Sydney until at least the end of the 2023 season. So it's a good re-signing there from both player and club. Now, that brings us into something that we've talked about for a fair while now, and something I've been really keen in seeing, and we saw the first one last year in player loans. So this stuff about Matt Burton signing for 2022 onwards when you've still got a whole season in the middle, Clifford as well. As a fan, it sucks. So if that player stays at your club and plays really well knowing that they're gone, it's just gutting to watch. Unless you win the grand final, it's all been for a waste.
Well, with Clifford, I don't understand. Are they just relying on injuries?
Well, Peyton said he's already in his plans for 2021.
Where? Where's he going to play? You got Holmes, Drinkwater, Morgan, and Habasau Feet. No, that's not it. Dejan Arce. So,
no idea.
And same with Matt Burton. Like, I understand. Well, he's fourth in line, and now he's signed the Dogs. So, I just don't get it.
So, obviously, in these situations, the player can't be released the year early due to usually salary cap reasons. Okay, so these contracts have been put in place starting 22 onwards because maybe the Knights don't have the space right now to take his contract on board unless they cut other players.
We 100% have the space to put him on.
Yeah, I'm just trying to throw out hypotheticals here. The other thing is Cowboys are going, well, this guy's contracted to us. We don't want him going to another club a year early just to play against us. And so this is where your loanee system comes in. Now, people might say, well, what's the difference with that than them going to the club a year early? In a loan deal, the parent club or the club that the player's got the contract for is still in charge overall. And if you put the right rules in place at the start, make them simple and clear to follow, a loan program can work. So say Cowboys start the season with Dejan Arce and Drinkwater in the halves. And that's what Peyton wants to do moving forward. They could loan Clifford to Newcastle for that season, knowing he's going to be there the year before. Cowboys can recall Clifford at any stage. So say Arce goes down with an injury, they can recall Clifford. He can be playing for the Cowboys the next week. Upside of that is, instead of Clifford cooling his heels in reserve grade, or not cooling his heels, playing in reserve grade, which isn't the highest quality, or not playing at all, depending on restrictions and all that. He's been playing at NRL level the whole season as well. So that's an upside. Loan players aren't allowed to play against their parent clubs, which is the same as in other leagues. So Clifford, even if he was loaned to Newcastle, would not be allowed to play against the Cowboys. Makes sense. And pro rata payments from the club loaning the player to his employer. So Newcastle would be picking up a slight portion of Clifford's salary. So it might be like an 80-20 split.
To be completely honest with you, I think Cowboys have just been arseholes here.
Of course they are. Why wouldn't you be?
It's horrible.
Well, Penrith's not going to go, oh, yeah, sure, you just took one of our local juniors. Here, have him a year early so he can rip us to shreds.
Well, the only thing I can see for Newcastle is they're banking on Blake Green and Mitchell Pearce to have a good year. I just don't get it.
again, it comes down to the NRL allowing players to negotiate a year and a half ahead of when their contract runs out.
Yeah, it's just dumb. Like,
Stupid.
it's crap. And I know that when everyone goes, when it'd be interesting to see what the NRL, the players are like with it. Like, I remember playing A grade a few years ago, and there's a guy transferred from one club to the other. And I know this isn't the same level, but he actually got sent home from training one night because he was wearing the previous club's pants to training. And what's that like, knowing you're training with this dude and you know he's leaving at the end of the year? Like, he's already bought a house down in wherever. I'm not even talking about Clifford. This is happening all over. Like, Matt Burns is another example, and it'll happen again and again and again. I really don't understand how this kind of stuff works. And I get most players would probably be cool with it, but fuck me, how do you plan around? Like, how do you make plans and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, where's their headspace at? Are they giving their all and no won't be it? And then the Josh Alloway thing's another one where they're just trying to throw up a stink so they can move where they want, when they want. This isn't the freaking NBA where their egos get in the way of our whole comp. And they're saying, all right, I want out of this club. I want to go there. That's the only place you need to trade me. And they can literally just say that to an owner, and they're like, well, we've got no other option now. The other thing the Cowboys could do right now is be like, all right, you signed for another club. You voided your contract. You're cut. They don't owe him any more money. He doesn't have a job for a season. If the Knights want him a year early, they've got to then negotiate a figure. Or Clifford's going to have to play for free or something minimal to keep his job there. Rugby League Player Association's not going to support that, because then you're taking a guy from employment to unemployment. The NRL just needs to go, you're contracted from 21 to 23. On November 1st, 2023, you can start negotiating with clubs. Just like right now, this is our free agent time of the year until 6 weeks before the season starts. You've got from now till then to get your new contract. If you're not signed in that period, you're a free agent. You're training by yourself. You're playing for a Q Cup, whatever, until a team looks to pick you up.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
straightforward. It's simple. It doesn't give the players your long-term security, and make sure you play damn well every year. So if you're going into a contract year and you're a winger and you put up 14 tries, you're more than likely going to get a 3-year deal compared to the winger who put up 4 tries. Who might be on 1 year.
Another thing about it is, like, you got when Cowboys play Newcastle, like, Jake Clifford's going to be talking to Newcastle all year. And then he walks off the field and say, Newcastle gets beat. Newcastle smashed the Cowboys this year. I'm throwing it out there. He walks off laughing with all the boys he's talking to.
I don't know. I don't think he'll go that far. Cause he'll still have
but you know what I mean? Like, he knows them all and all that kind of stuff. Like, and then the other players are like, well, did he put in a good effort because he's getting paid by him $600,000 a year next year? Like, did it? Like, that's where it just creates shit within.
And it's one thing. I'm surprised Flanders hasn't made more of this yet. I know he's had bigger things to deal with this year. But I'd be really interested to see if this is one of the things he tackles, because if it gets set up and we don't have any of these stupid early contracts anymore, a loan program, if then set up, would be huge. Yeah. It would be so good for fans from both sides if done correctly. So you've got, let's take Tex Hoy, for example, from Newcastle. He's not getting his run at fullback at Newcastle anytime soon, with Kalen Ponga being there. You look at a club where you got Penrith, who's just released Caleb Aikens. Dylan Edwards goes down with an injury. They sign up a loan deal with Newcastle for the rest of the season. Hey, we need a fullback. Tex Hoy's not getting a run. We'll take him for the rest of the season. You guys need a young forward here. We've got Blah. let's go. That works for both. Tex Hoy gets a run, Penrith get a player, one of their young forwards gets maybe more exposure at Newcastle. It goes both ways. Callum Ponga goes down with an injury. Newcastle Knights can recall Tex Hoy, and it just switches back. No salary cap implications. Players are still on their normal wages.
Yeah.
That's it. It should be that simple. Anyway, it's interesting to hear that this is coming out, and that the person talking about that is, I want to get his first name right. We've talked about him on the pod before. Troy Grant, International Rugby League Deputy Chair. So he's carrying a fair bit of weight. Super League does this. There's no reason why the NRL can't in the near future. So off that, Jared and I decided to do let's call it a game, a bit of an exercise. So if you go to Zero Tackle, great rugby league website, it gives you the off-contract list of players for each season. So we looked at the contract list of players for the 2020 season. It's getting smaller and smaller each week as these players get picked up or signed or whatever. So I selected, I think, 8 from there and then 8 from the 2021 class. So players off contract the end of next year. So these players are able to be signing with other clubs as we speak. And it's already happening. So we picked 16 players and we had to find a new home for each player. They weren't allowed to re-sign with their club that they're at the moment. And no club could have 2 players. 16 players, 16 clubs. We had to find a new home for them. Salary cap wasn't an issue with this, but the only goals we set ourselves were trying to find the best fit for player and club. Easier said than done at the start. Much harder at the end when you had 4 players left and 4 clubs and going, yeah, that doesn't really fit, but that's all we got left. So Jared and I did this separately, so we'll just go through the clubs alphabetically, but we'll give you the list of players first. So the 16 players were Jerome Hughes, Stephen Crichton, Tavita Totola, Scott Sorensen, Braden Trindle, Josh Adokar, Gareth Widdop, Tyrone Peachy, Tyrone Roberts, Dylan Napa, Isaac Luke, Sandor Earl, Anthony Milford, Albert Hopewade, Cam McInnes, Josh Mansour. Try to get a mixture of halves, backs, forwards, etc. Gareth Widdop and is in the Super League as it stands, but there's whispers of him wanting to come back to the NRL. However, his pay packet is proving an issue. So, but we took that out of account for this one. So, starting from the top, Jared, if we go teams, I guess we're starting with the Broncos.
Broncos, I picked Scott Sorensen.
Ooh.
I really like that. Even though
they got Patrick Carrigan.
He can play on the edge, he can play up front, he can play anywhere in the forward pack. He is he's young, he's pretty bulky. Even though everyone raves about Broncos forward pack,
because they're young
these
and bulky.
Boys, they need competition, and he is the sort of player to come in, and I reckon he's a very professional player as well, which I also think Broncos need. And he's just the hard, tough nut player that the Broncos are famous for having. I just think back in the day, you would have signed with him. He's that sort of player, and I would love him to go there. I reckon he'd be a really good addition to their squad.
Who would he be taking the spot of? So he's not going to take over Carrigan. He won't take over Haas.
I just bring him off the bench.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
who's their other edge?
You got Sewer and Glenn. No, yeah, Sewer and Glenn.
No, not Sewer. Sewer's at Rabbits.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. There's a.
Tio.
Might be Jordan. Yeah, or Jordan Ricky as well. He's there.
Yeah, all
So
right.
you can't even think who their forward pack is. You bring Scott Sorensen off the bench for him. He's just going to be – he's a mobile forward, play anywhere you need him to. And he's a kind of player that he kind of like Kurt Capewell, where he does the shit
true.
plays. So I reckon Broncos need that kind of player in their squad.
Yep.
And he's quick. So he's going to make a lot of meters for you. And he can run an edge too. So he's pretty dynamic. Because they've got Flegler and Carrigan in the middle. They're kind of set in the same mold as tackle and run all day. This guy brings something a bit different to their squad. He's got an offload to him.
All right. I went completely opposite, going, well, their only real strength is in their forwards. So I try to fill a spot that they've been craving for ages. They picked the wrong halfback from Melbourne to bring up in Croft. I've given them the right halfback to pick up. I've sent Jerome Hughes to Brisbane because regardless of their forward pack and how young and talented they are, and their back line with your Coates and Staggs and depending what Asako is going to finally progress into, whatever, if you don't have a half that's going to be able to capitalise on that, there's no point. And I think Jerome Hughes would be a sort of half that would get the most out of Milford, having come from Munso's at running 5'8", and get Milford back to running. And Hughes now has shown that he can control the show. So I think Jerome Hughes would be the best fit for Brisbane out of our list.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Cool. The only thing I'd say to that is how many players have walked out of Melbourne playing well for the next club, and
that's not the point of this exercise.
That's
finding the best fit. It's finding the best fit with our list. I just don't know if
Hughes is ready to lead the club. Okay, Canberra's next.
I've got absolutely almost no doubt that he would not go to Brisbane. For our exercise, I'm trying to find the best fit for the players that we have here.
The next one's Canberra?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the one where I was like, this was one of the last 4 teams, and I had 4 players left. And then I went, you know what? He might actually do all right there with the players around him.
All right. I've actually got Cam McInnes.
Oh.
So they've lost Bateman.
Yeah, I get that. He's not going to play on the edge.
What?
Move
Tarpany to the edge. Move Tarpany to the edge. Start McInnes at lock.
Oh. You've got Hudson Young. You've got Emre Gula. You've got Corey Horsburgh.
Yeah, and they're all front rows. You can rotate because Papali...
Corey Horsburgh played lock.
Plays lock. Front row as well.
He can, I guess.
And look, see, the thing about...
He's never going to play hooker there, though.
No, but that's my point. The thing about it is, like, these great hookers that are playing, for some reason, they keep pushing them for 80 minutes. Imagine if Josh Hodgson had a break.
Yeah, Tom Starling.
How much better would be... What?
Tom Starling.
Oh, no, sorry, yeah, they got Starling. But I just like Cam McInnes at lock, replace Ed. You know, he's going to tackle all day and that kind of stuff. He's just going to be there.
That would be formidable.
What, McInnes and Hodgson in the middle?
Oh, just McInnes at Raiders.
Yeah.
And that'd be... I didn't even think... he was one of the first ones I wrote down because I saw a club that would desperately need him, and I think he would shine there. But again, I was looking at Canberra going, oh man, it's hard to find their holes. And I guess in the end, it was their centres and the fact that they had Rapana playing there. And this isn't going to fill any Canberra fans with confidence, the player that I've picked there, but he's young and talented. He just needs, I think, to get a long shot in a confident team. He came on and made his debut for Manly last year in a train wreck of a team and got absolutely ripped to shreds. But in this situation, I think Albert Hopper-Wade could get a spot in that back line and be protected a lot more and put Rapana back out on the wing. And then that way you'd have a Croker and Hopper-Wade pairing. Sorry, Curtis Scott. And then that way you'd be able to have Rapana and Simonson on the wing because Kotrick's gone.
Yeah, that's fair enough. It
was kind of my ifs and arms.
If walked into that, I'd be like, oh, shit.
Oh, I love the fact that we've gone 2 and we haven't matched up at all yet. That's perfect. All right. My list is all over the shop. I went Queensland teams, then New South Wales teams, and then Warriors and Storm. I'm trying to actually look at the...
So go on your list. Who's next? Let's go on your list.
My next is Titans.
Gold Coast. Okay, so for me, they've got a gun forward pack.
Yes.
I see them a tad weak in the backs.
Yes.
Stephen Crichton.
Oh, see, I had him there and I crossed him out.
Yeah, no, I got
moved
Stephen
him.
Crichton.
He would be
In the
perfect there.
centres.
He'd be perfect there.
Yeah, he'd be great. Who'd you put after you crossed him out?
I had one of the players that I just had left and I just put him there, knowing that he's not going to get a starting spot because of how good their forward pack is. And it goes completely against the logic I just had for Broncos and Sorensen because I put Sorensen at Titans.
No. Why? They got every other forward in the
I know,
competition.
because I was just like, he's that player who can do a lot of things. And I'm like, I had Stephen Crichton. The only reason I crossed out him from the Titans is he's had one season and he's played in a young, talented team, all that sort of stuff. But the other thing is those players have all been playing together for a fair while, even though they're young, and there's some structure there. He'd be going into a Titans team that's had so much flux and new players coming in and a backline that's never stayed consistent, whether he'd actually be that good. But in saying that, he was the first person I wrote down for the Titans, and then I ended up just getting stuck with Sorensen. But I could so see it. I could so see it there.
Okay, who's next? Cowboys?
Yeah, so this is who I moved Stephen Crichton to because of what Todd Payton said the other week, that they need a exciting, athletic center who can break tackles, create opportunities, all that sort of stuff. Giving him early ball, having Cole Felt outside him, having him get a quick play the ball off Tamalolo, shifting it wide. Yeah, Stephen Crichton at the Cowboys would be brilliant. Hamasai Fido. Yeah, see, that was the other player I was thinking for the Cowboys, and then I was like, no, he said center specifically. So, but
I've got Josh Mansell just because he'd come in bring a bit of experience.
Who would you take out? Fido? It'd have to be. That's a lot of speed and talent to put on the bench.
I would consider moving Fido to the centers.
Yeah, does he have the size? Like the thickness? He's got the height, but does he have the strength?
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
I'm just thinking, imagine him up against Bradman Best.
I'm not saying no to that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
No. I just, defensively, he might be found out a bit. But in saying that, too, if someone like Katoni Staggs or Bradman Best want to isolate him, they can just, switch positions.
Could you see Daniel Tupou as the center?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He weighs 100 kilos.
Yeah, but he can't move sideways.
Okay, who's next?
We've come so close to agreeing then. So that's Queensland teams. Next one, I forgot Newcastle was above Manly, so I put Manly and then Newcastle. I was trying to go geographically. So I've got Manly next.
I like my one for Manly.
So do I. Please say the same one.
I got Braden Trindle.
Oh, no.
Because you need a 5'8".
I know. We only just signed Kieran Foran.
Yeah, but he's playing hooker.
No, he's not.
He
play
is.
5'8".
No, he's playing hooker for you because they got rid of Danny Levi.
He'll play 5'8". That's what I'm scared of.
I got Cherry
and Cade Custer's there.
I'd rate Trindle higher.
Oh, he's played
Just
4 games.
He's a running player. He's strong. He's athletic, and he's plays what's in front of him. I really like Trindle.
Actually, this is going to be really funny on the next one. I do like him. I do like what I've seen of him as well, honestly. But I think Cade Custer's is ready to get his full-time crack. And I was looking at the Manly lineup the other day going, I don't care what Hasler said about him playing hooker. He'll be playing 5'8", so they can put Walker back out in the centres.
I tell you what,
which means we need to find a hooker real fast.
I tell you what, extended highlights of the Wallabies game the weekend.
Shut up.
Tom Wright killed it.
I know. He's the best freaking league player not playing league. I've said this enough. I actually tweeted to Manly the other week saying, let's get him back.
I'm sure they listened to you.
Of course they did. No, we've just lost Fanua Blake, so I picked up Tavita Totola for Manly.
That's not bad, actually.
I'd really like that. He was awesome for South, and he'd fit right in opposite Marty Tapau. Because our replacements for Fanua Blake, Tafoa Sipley, Taniela Paseka, they're good players, but they don't have
Who's
that
that
X
big
factor.
dopey-looking motherfucker you got?
Taniela Paseka.
No.
Oh,
No.
Morgan Boyle.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
I'll get back to you.
Jack
I'll get back to
Krzyzewski.
you. No, he's blonde hair. No, the big dopey bloke. Keep going. I'll get back to you.
No. So yeah, I picked up Tavita Totola for Manly.
Sean Keppie.
Oh, Sean Keppie, yeah, right.
Yeah, big dopey bastard.
Yeah, but he doesn't have Tavita Totola's got speed. He can actually move laterally and take people with him. We still haven't got
Newcastle.
one the same. You picked this guy for Manly. I picked him for Newcastle in Braden Trindle to get rid of Kurt Mann.
Nah, Blake Green is playing there.
Yeah, I know. But he's only going to play half the season.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then it's only in a 1-year contract.
Yeah, that's why they planned it for Clifford.
Yeah, well, but all the same reasons you said for Manly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And
but
he'll pass for you.
I actually got another idea. We need an outside back.
Yes, you do.
I went Josh Addo-Carr.
So you got Edric, Lee, and Heimel Hunt. Are you going to replace either of them?
Well, I'd keep Lee. I'd move Hunt to the centres. Have Brabham Best inside Addo-Carr. Heimel Hunt and Edric Lee on the other side.
Well, I know which side I'm defending, and I know which side I'm attacking. It's the same side.
Well, like you imagine having Bradman Best and Josh Addo-Carr running at you.
That's what I mean. I'm putting my defense on that side, except for someone who can jump on the other side, but I'm also attacking that side.
Okay, who you got?
Geez, we couldn't have been any further away from that. So I just jumped the rest of the Sydney teams here. So I've got Roosters next.
No, I went with Gareth Widdop because they seem to just buy players like that all the time.
Was this one of the last ones you had, and that's who was left over?
No? I just see Widdop as a Roosters player.
Where's he going to play?
Halfback, 5'8". They don't have a halfback or 5'8".
They've got Luke Keary.
And Adam Kieran.
Or Sam Walker. Or Lachlan Lamb.
Would you be surprised if they signed someone like him?
Yes, considering how much money he's on. Yes. I know their Sabrera gets bigger each year, but even they can't afford him.
I honestly would not be surprised.
Sorry, we took salary cap out of it. I'm sorry.
I'm honestly not surprised if Widdop signed with the Roosters. I would not be. He could play 6 and Keary could play 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be pissed off, but I wouldn't be surprised. I looked at who they lost in the off-season, and I just upgraded one of their important cogs that fits anywhere. Orbison's gone, so I picked up a better version of him in Tyrone Peachey for the Roosters.
Fair enough.
He would be...
I don't think he's got the attitude to play for the Roosters.
No, but he would be stellar at that club. Like, Mitch Orbison was awesome. He's a club legend there. You take a guy with the same sort of skill set, but at faster speeds and with more creativity.
Orbison was a legend for his attitude.
I was going to say, less game sense. I think Orbison's one of the smartest players to have played. He's always in the right position. Peachy can still learn that, but he would be a scary proposition playing for the Roosters, I think. Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. I've got Albert Hopewado.
Yeah,
Even Kotrick in the centres.
And, no, I think he'd be on the wing. No.
Who are they? They don't have another centre. I can't think of another centre.
No, because I was about to say you'd have Addo-Carr at fullback, but that's in real life. And he's not there yet. He hasn't even signed. I could see that.
Yeah, or Albert Hopewado at fullback. That's not too bad.
I think he'd be more
Dallin
solid there.
Martins-Lesniak and Will Hopewade on the wings.
Yeah. I'd have Hopewade and Kotrick in the centres. That's Will. And Albert Hopewade at fullback. That's a really good fit, actually. Good job. I went real boring with Bulldogs. They're chasing him for a reason because he could fit at fullback there and have it crack. So I put Addo-Carr there because he does fit there. But I actually like your Albert Hopewade pick better there. And I do actually see him going there considering he hasn't re-signed. And it seems like almost every Manly player that leaves goes to Parramatta or Bulldogs. So I can see that happening. Rabbitohs. That was my second last team to fill, and they got my second last player. So it was more of I can't see him playing here, but I've got nowhere else to put him.
Who'd you put?
Tyrone Roberts.
I put Jerome Hughes.
Oh, whoa.
Play him at fullback, move Latrell to the centres.
Not going to happen.
That's what I want. Latrell's a centre.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Hughes isn't a fullback.
Yeah, he is. He's a better fullback than halfback.
Not even.
I would put it. I reckon he would have had a better year if Pappenhausen wasn't there and he had to play fullback.
Yeah, but Melbourne would have made the grand final. Oh no, I can't agree with you on that one. That's the wrong fit.
It was one of my last ones though. So
who did you put there?
A lot of what?
Who did you say you put?
Jerome Hughes.
He was one of your last. Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Tyrone Roberts, I guess, would be a bench impact player, but nah. I don't know. I think Rabbits are pretty solid across the board, so it was hard to find a spot for anyone to go there. So sorry, Rabbits, but you guys stay the same. Dragons. This one was easy.
Sandor Earl.
Ew. Oh, your last three have sucked.
What?
They've already got too many wingers.
Yeah, they're getting rid of a few, so bring him in there.
Above who?
But I would consider moving into second row too. He's big enough.
So you got Ravalawa, you got Pereira, you've got Saab, even though he doesn't want to be there.
I would put Sandor Earl above Pereira.
All right.
Yeah.
Mine made way too much sense. Gareth Widdop.
Nah, that's boring.
That would be the best outcome for player and club.
That's boring. Okay, who's next?
Sharks. Come on, let's get one.
I put Dylan Napa.
Yes! Yes, we got one. It makes sense. Overpriced, underperforming forward goes to the Sharks.
For too much money.
Aiden Tolman,
Aaron Woods.
That's even
Andrew
the same thing. Dylan Napa to the Sharks. There we go.
Okay, who's next?
Penrith.
I actually went a bit weird on this one. I went Isaac Luke. Just as a replacement. Not even the 17.
Anyway.
So I wouldn't even start him because they've got
Coruscant,
but they seem to go really weak when he's injured. And to be fair, he's injured and suspended a lot.
Bring in Spencer Lenu?
Yeah, Spencer Lenny. Like, Luke's not a bad idea to bring in for that.
Also, Spencer Lenu and Jerome Luai played together in junior, so they got that chemistry. I don't mind that. I found Isaac Luke tough to place. But yeah, I went with one of my last players available. And I know that they just said to Josh Mansell that he's not going to have a spot because they're going with Charlie Staines. So, of course, I gave them an outside back. I sent Sandor Earl to Penrith as a competition player more than anything.
Yeah, same as Luke.
For that wing position. Brent Naden, there's a question mark over him. And then also because they got rid of Caleb Aitkins, if Edwards goes down, they're going to have to shift their back line instead of before, where they just
I wouldn't be surprised if Tyrone May actually went to fullback.
Yeah, it could be that. I put Earl there as depth. All right.
Okay.
Parramatta.
I love my Para pick. So this year, my biggest criticism of Parramatta was their lack of depth and the fact that they had two utilities, Brad Tekarangi and Ray Stone. Throw Peachy in Parramatta.
Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What's that?
I'm counting 16 teams, but I can't see that I've written Tigers down. Have we doubled up?
No, I haven't. But yes, Peachy to Parramatta, just because of the fact that they're all out attack. You bring him on, and it just causes havoc when he comes on the field. Like, legitimately will just rip teams apart for fun with Peachy there.
Oh, you put Peachy to Parramatta?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Juicy. Yeah. Imagine the attack that they'll have with Peachy coming on the field at 14. Because he could play anywhere in the forward pack and the centres, and I wouldn't say no to him at 5'8" in a stretch.
So they utilise Takarangi a lot there.
Exactly. And
so
Ray Stone, like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be a better version of Takarangi. A lot better version of Takarangi at Parramatta. He'd be a hell of a pickup for them.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
I went with Isaac Luke for Parramatta because when Reid Marnie went down.
That's where Peachy comes in.
Yeah, but I'm not going to rely. Peachy's wasted playing dummy half. Because he needs a roving role. He needs to be able to go and do what he wants.
Either way, he can play 12 positions on the field.
But who'd they put in there when Marnie went down?
Ray Stone.
Yeah, they had to bring him in. And I think he's got more talent. Not similar to Peachy, but as an edge. I just think if any club needed a backup to give a young guy who's already had concussion issues and shoulder issues a bit of a break, he'd fit there. I'm still trying to work out how the hell I did this.
Peachy fits the mold.
Cowboys, man.
Okay, next one I'm guessing was Tigers for you because you're going out west.
No, I don't have the Tigers on my list. I'm wondering who I doubled up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I've picked up Junior Totola at Tigers.
I've literally written down 16 teams. Brisbane Titans, Cowboys, Manly, Newcastle Roosters, Bulldogs, Rabbits, Dragons, Sharks, Penrith, Parramatta. Oh,
what?
I got Sharks there twice. Damn it. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. No, I'll just go Tigers for this player then.
Okay, I've got Junior Totola there because they seem to lose.
Tavita Totola?
Tavita Totola, yeah. But the Junior Totola used to play, didn't he? Yeah, so I reckon he'd be good there.
Well, this actually fits more. I ended up having... Well, I've now got Milford going to West.
Yeah, they've got like 4 utilities there.
Yeah, I know. Well, I had him for Sharks. But Milford I couldn't put anywhere. I really didn't find a club who'd want him or where he'd fit. So...
All right. Yeah, that's just a throwaway, that is.
Yeah, like, in saying that, he'd be able to come in and be a better 5'8" than whoever they've got, because I can't even think of who it is. It's either Josh Reynolds or...
Well, they got rid of Benji, so that's not the worst thing.
Yeah, so Milford could go in there and show Luke Brooks out.
To be honest, I want Moses Mbai a decent crack at 6. So now they've got 2 centres, 2 genuine centres playing for him now.
Who ended up at fullback there at the end of the season?
Dewey.
No, he went back to centres.
I can't remember.
They changed so many times.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Actually, yeah, Milford at Tigers. That kind of makes sense. Well, you got Warriors and Storm. They're the last 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's no... Wow, we had one the same out of 16 because the last 2 players I've used and you've used. So
who'd you go?
I went... Warriors have been signing up a Storm, but they're still missing a 80-minute seasoned experienced
McInnes.
hooker. Can you imagine McInnes with that forward pack now? Oh, yeah.
I went Milford. Look, I think they're still a bit weak in the halves.
Does he improve
Eh.
that?
Sorry?
Does he improve that?
No, not really, but it just seems like that kind of player to go there.
I can actually
to
see him
throw
coming
a
off the bench there and having a bit of fun.
Yeah, but they're not going to pay him off the bench, so.
Do you see Cam McInnes there?
No. I
What?
think they'd ruin him. I would hate for Cam McInnes to go there just because they'd ruin him.
No, but for the team.
Yeah, I get that. I just don't want to do it to the poor boy.
Look at that. Ben Murdoch-Masila, Adam Fanua-Blake, Tohu
McInnes
Harris.
isn't overly attacking at dummy
Elisa
half. Just remember.
Katoa. You don't need to. You don't need to. I like, can you just, that forward pack would be the best in the NRL.
Okay, last one.
I love
Is
this
Melbourne.
fit. I love this fit for me.
Who?
Remy Smith's cool. Josh Mansour would be better.
Yeah, no, I get that. I've actually gone for someone who Craig Bellamy would turn to someone who's got a little bit like decent potential, shown some potential over his career, but then Craig Bellamy brings him up to elite level.
Tyrone Roberts.
Yes. He's the sort of player that Craig Bellamy would pick out of nothing and just turn into an absolute superstar.
So he'd take Jerome Hughes' spot because he's gone.
Yeah. He's honestly the sort of player that Craig Bellamy would do that for.
Tyrone Roberts and Cam Munster. Well, fuck, I could look good next to Cam Munster. As in, he could make me look good, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, no, I could see that.
Yeah.
There's some of yours were just yuck, but I think we did all right. I'm going through this now going, fuck, Anthony Milford at Tigers. Because I was going, what team have I missed? I was thinking I might have written down Canberra somewhere and Raiders somewhere else. That was fun. I like that.
Yeah.
The chance of any of these happening are below zero. But when saying that, I could kind of see Stephen Crichton going to the Cowboys.
I could see him going to Gold Coast.
Well, yeah, that's true. It was interesting. Peyton came out and said there's only been one club that Widdop's management has actually reached out to, and that was the Cowboys. And
if he goes there, they'll let go Clifford.
That was the reasoning. But Peyton said, one, I want Clifford there this year. And he said it was pretty much a 2-sentence conversation. The management said, hey, I can get you Widdop for this. And Peyton said, that's nice, but that's too much money.
Yeah.
And that was the end of the conversation. So,
or someone who has proven he's got kind of dodgy shoulders.
Yeah, but Widdop would be what the Cowboys are screaming out for. Like,
yeah,
that would
game
be
alone.
Oh, the kicking game, and then just the link between that forward pack and the backs that they're building. That'd be huge. So that was fun. We had some other stuff, but we'll save that for next episode because it's off season. We don't want to do too much in one go. Otherwise, we'll run out of stuff to talk about. We'll do our plug now because we're going to finish on a bit of a downer, unfortunately. But all of our social media platforms stay the same. Twitter at 6againpod, Facebook at 6again podcast, Rugby League show, or you can send in a voice message straight to our website. There's a link in each of our blogs on each episode. We're going to be tinkering with the format throughout the off season. When we finally get it all together, let us know how you like it. And stay safe coming into holiday season. We've still got a few weeks, but a bit of a downer story coming out of Manly the last couple of days. A young player called Keith Titmus died after a training session with the Manly squad, under 20s. Very talented young player. Good mate of John Schuster, who made his debut for Manly last year. It was a regular training session. He wasn't feeling the best during the stretching at the end of the session and collapsed, and was taken to hospital and died either on the way or on arrival to hospital. There's still mystery surrounding what he passed away from, but literally it was just the end of a training session and went down, and that was it. So obviously a massive shock. Manly's given leave to the playing group, whose heads obviously aren't going to be up for training for quite a while. So from the Six Again podcast, from Jared and myself, we just want to extend our heartfelt sympathy to the Titmus family and the Manly under-20 squad and the Manly club. And we know that you'll stick together as a family, and hope you can get through it. Until next time, bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Six Again. Connect with the show on Twitter, Instagram, and the Six Again website. All links via the show's bio. Be sure to check out Adam's craft beer choice of the week.